What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. I am Molinda Jae, and I'm here to talk about episode 3 of the Harry and Meghan documentary on Netflix. And I named this Rehearsed Reality Show because that is definitely what it was giving when it came to the engagement. What was discussed in this episode was the engagement, the pros and cons, and Meghan going into depth when it comes to royal protocol as the tabloids headlines the involvement with her family. So again, that segues from what I was talking about from the second episode, and how the royal engagement is now announced within this episode. And this happened in 2017. Wow. The time has flown by, y'all. Okay, the pros from the engagement is that Harry is solidifying and is about to marry the love of his life. Now, there wasn't too many cons. I'll say the cons that came out of the engagement was that the media, of course, the media frenzy, and how much digging they did in regards to Meghan and her background, especially her being a two-time divorcee. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she was a two-time divorcee, and they were basically doing a public background check on Meghan in regards to, does she qualify for Harry to marry her. And at this point, I'm like, who gives up at this point? Okay, there you got you got the king that is, hello, prime example of it. And of course you also got the other king, King Edward, that abdicated the throne because he decided to go for his heart and marry the woman that he loved instead of fulfilling his duty. So again, history repeating itself over and over and over again until it has been broken. But I feel like with Harry and Meghan, it really is sending a message to the monarchy in itself on how, we can do without y'all because of the institutional rules and values and protocols that y'all continue to hold on. Yeah, I'm out because y'all not providing any protection, not only for me but my wife to be, as well as the kids that's going to come into the family realm as well. So why not? Peace out. Okay. So the engagement, let me see my thoughts on this one. Okay, what I wrote down for rehearsed reality show, because once the engagement happened, um they could not tell their story on how they met. It was more like a photo op. They get dressed, they go to a particular spot where the media comes, they take a little couple of photo ops, and they ask a couple of questions. I'll say about 5 at least, and then they go on, and it was more like a copy and paste type of deal, because it happens with every engagement, especially when it's like the main ones in the line of succession. So what I got from that was, as the engagement has been announced, of course the inner circle was starting to wonder, was Harry worth it when it comes to making it work in regards to what she is about to sign up for, or basically what she is about to get into, based on the background that he came from. And because how it's being described in Ram is, when it comes to the royals and the media, is a royal rota, as they explain it. There's a communication in Buckingham for the one who's in sovereign. They have a communications unit in the Clarence house where Charles and Camilla was staying at the time. And they also have a communications at Kensington Palace between Harry and Meghan and Will and Kate. And it's just like a machine, basically. That's how it's explained. And when it comes to the media, like the Daily Mail, the Sun, and the list goes on, the British media, and then some, but mainly the British media, um for is like an even exchange between the two, like, because the taxpayers are paying for them to reveal some things, some private things, about their life, or their day-to-day activities. So what will happen is, um okay, taxpayer pays the royal family sends articles to the media, and the media are basically tip tap well fighting, I'm gonna say fighting each other, to where it's like it's my turn to exploit the family, so to speak. So there's a whole machine going on. Basically, the royals can control how they are being perceived with the public, even though I'm pretty sure there's some dark secrets, and who doesn't have dark secrets within their family. But it, again, is controlled. Okay, if one person wants some things out of their realm, then another royal needs to be put in the forefront, or the scapegoat, so they can get ramshack. And once that royal wants to get out of the spotlight and being ramshack, then they'll choose another one, and the list goes on. Again, it's a whole rotation. And then also, with this engagement happening, again, it just brings the representation. Let's see what I wrote down. Again, like I said, there's a chance for the monarch to be modernized with this union, because not only we're dealing with biracial, we're dealing with the union being a white male, and a biracial woman, but also we're dealing with two countries becoming one, as they say, the transatlantic union, because Harry is not marrying a commoner from the UK, or aristocratic individual from the UK. He is marrying an individual that is from America. So it's like, yeah, America, we could be in y'all business now, because we have a royal. I kid you not, when the engagement happened, that's what I was thinking at the time. I was like, yeah, because we could be in y'all business now. Okay. Just like y'all been in our business in historical times, having to be independent from y'all ass, right? And now we come back together by marriage with Harry and Meghan. Yes, we could be in y'all business, man. So that's what I was getting when it came to the engagement happening. And also, it gave a chance for the community that does represent Harry and Meghan, or Harry and Meghan provides that representation for them. They could be heard now. They could be seen. They could be heard, but definitely seen, because representation matters. So that was is basically providing a reflection to how some citizens in the UK are when it comes to their family unit. So also it goes into the dark side of the spectrum within this episode about the deep south of Britain and how they utilized the slavery around that time with the Caribbeans, however you want to pronounce it, in regards to the out of sight and out of mind theory with the enslavement of Jamaicans, especially. That was being said at the time. The history behind that is fairly nasty. For example, Jamaica being the most profitable in regards to the slaves getting crops and having them shipped out to the UK, as well as the American colonies at the time with tobacco, using slaves at that time and sending and exporting the goods over to the UK for an even exchange or whatever the case may be was that. Because what was explained was the first commercial enslaved was done by Queen Elizabeth I, and it continued to be funded by kings and queens until King George III. And that's when King George III abolished slavery in 1760 through between 1760 and 1820. However, with the slave trade, it ended in 1807. But with the slave empire, that has been abolished around the 1830s. So, in regards to that, it also stated that 20 million was compensated to, even though slavery was abolished, the slave owners got compensated for a big penny, like 20 million pounds at the time when slavery was abolished. So again, that just sent a red flag to my head, because I remember watching the movie Belle, and that's who I remember watching the movie Belle, because it's one of my favorite movies in regards to the older times of how they used to dress and how they used to interact with each other. But it reminded me of the movie Belle, and the character in the movie, the main character in the movie, that was a biracial child, because her father was white and her mom was black, and I believe her mom was a slave or a house within the household, a house slave, and I believe she ended up passing at childbirth, I want to say. But either way it go, that main character in that movie Belle reminds me of Meghan. There's some similarities with that character. The reason why is because that character within that movie was an activist in her own right, because she was trying to figure out, even though she has an inheritance after her father passed away in battle, she still wanted to get to the root of why she's not able to participate in certain events with guests coming to her uncle and aunt's house, because those were her guardian at the time. And she also had like a white cousin that was like her companion / sister too. So when it came to finding a suitor for Belle at the time, of course she went with the person that she loved, and not for the person that just wanted her because of the dowry, hint hint, the allowance, or the property value of her, and to marrying a jerk, basically. So the reason why I said that character reminds me of Meg is because whenever Meg be doing things that Kate will do the exact same thing, Meghan takes the fall for it. She is the scapegoat for it. And at the same time, when it comes to her wearing particular things, she cannot shine more than the senior officials before her, like Will and Kate, or the Queen, as well as Charles and them. She cannot wear certain things that will outshine other senior officials that are before her in the line of succession. So, because again, with the Belle character, she was not able to participate in evening dinners with guests or evening festivities with guests unless she was with an escort, especially if they was on the promenade, mingling amongst people, or when it came to people coming to her uncle and them house, she would have to be out of sight, out of mind, because they didn't want to they don't want the folks knowing that they actually have a biracial person in their household and they are related to them, so to speak. So when they explained that bit of a dark deep south history in regards to the UK aspect, because we only know bits and pieces about American, but it goes a little bit deeper, and I think it's a little bit uglier with the UK point of view with slavery. But again, we got to know the truth, and the truth can be ugly at times, so we could be able to move forward. So when they explained that little segment within that episode, that it gave me Belle vibes, and I'll just put the movie picture either on this side or on that side of the video, but you get my drift. And of course, with this engagement as well, and they were able to participate in the memorial of the of Stephen Lawrence that had his life taken away by some individuals, because with his death, it rocked the Black community and how things were happening, and how the lack of empathy and the lack of justice that the family and the person was getting in regards to getting it solved. And of course, with that engagement of Harry and Meghan as well, the problems that was happening around that time was Brexit. They was also dealing with immigration problem and their engagement with the European Union, as well as racial attacks, and which probably led to the life being taken, which left to Stephen Lawrence's life being taken. So again, it's just a lot. That's why I'm like breaking this up in different videos, because it's a lot to unpack from this, especially how I'm viewing it. And then also finally within this episode, as it wraps up, it touched base on the dad, Thomas Markle. Basically the media got to him, all in a nutshell. The media got to Thomas Markle in regards to staging photos with him either exercising on a bike, preparing to get fitted for his tux for the wedding, because he's supposed to be walking her down the aisle, as well as also doing Google searches with Harry and Meghan article, being in an article, as well as reading books in regards to the how to navigate the protocols, the mannerisms within the UK society. So I'm like, what the heck? Oh, in the essence, you can kind of tell it was staged. I mean, because some photos he was looking dead into the camera, like cheese, so to speak. But anyways, that it just left a sour taste, unfortunately, in Meghan and Harry's mouth, because they were trying to reach out to him in regards to him being in cahoots with the media and how he needs to avoid them at all costs. But unfortunately, with all the circumstances that was happening at that time, that's when he was like, poof, disappeared. He didn't want to be reached, so to speak. So that was it for episode 3. Let me know your comments down in the comment section below on what you thought about episode 3 if you watched it. Again, please stay tuned for episode 4. And again, like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.